Welcome to Unity of Kanawha Valley. We will begin our service with the ringing of the bell and the lighting of the Christ candle. We ring the bell and we light the candle to remind us that we are 100% human and 100% divine. And this reminds us of the divine spark that is the truth of our being. You'll find the opening statement on the inside of our bulletin. If you would repeat that with me together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. So sit with that truth for just a moment. And now repeat it with me once more. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. And so it is. So our songs this morning are led by Ron and accompanied by Jeff.
Good morning, you hardy bunch of... So would you please stand? We'll sing Surely the Presence. Thanks for getting here.
Surely the presence of our God is in
Thank you, thank you. So welcome. We are a small but mighty crowd here in person, and I know we're joined by many more people on Zoom today. We welcome you here at Unity of Kanawha Valley. For announcements, we have a very active Zoom community. And so after the service, you can tune in to our Zoom room. The meeting ID is the same as the church phone number, and the password is 1111. And you can join in a lively discussion with the Zoomers right after the service from your phone or from your laptop, wherever. And then on Monday nights at 8 o'clock in that same Zoom room, there is a Unity course in Miracles study. And feel free to pop into that. You don't have to attend every one, attend when you can. And the same Zoom room has a Thursday evening book study. That's also at 8 o'clock. Now, we need you to mark your calendars for Friday, June 7th. We will have another Friday fun night, and it's going to be a sock hop dance party with hot dogs, chips, sweet treats, and drinks. We are limited in space, so please let Peggy know if you would like to join us for some fun that night. And that's all the announcements I have. So I'm going to turn it over to Phil for our welcome.
Morning, everyone. My name's Phil Herndon. You may also know me as Violet's dad. Either one is perfectly acceptable, one more acceptable. I'm one of the board members here at Unity of Kanawha Valley. And on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you for being with us today. Thank you for being with us on your journey, and thank you for choosing us to be with you on yours. When I give the welcome, I like to think that it's I who have been welcomed, and thank you for welcoming me. We gather together every Sunday for many different reasons: prayer, redemption, fellowship, love, companionship, enlightenment. These are all just a small number of those reasons. We gather here together in person from all over the world on Zoom, and sometimes even YouTube if you've missed the live service. Here at Unity, we promote the idea that God is absolute love, and that through him, love is a part of all of us. And while you're here, it's my hope that you will enjoy our message today. And we like to say that we have a buffet-style philosophy, and that you take what you want and you leave the rest. And for our top chef and buffet presenter today, our guest speaker is going to be Megan Lyon. And she's going to be speaking on the theme of trusting the flow of life. Did I get that right? Quick story. I have spent a number of years wandering through thinking that every Megan had her name pronounced the exact same way. And several years ago, I was corrected. And it was nice because I got to sit down and go, just on the off chance I'm doing this wrong, how do you pronounce your name? And I received another pronunciation for Megan today, and I am grateful for the education. Thank you very much. So I'd like for all of us to stand as we're able to, and to greet the people around us. If you're on Zoom, I invite you to stick your arms to the left and right of your camera and hug the person on the screen next to you. I don't even know what that looks like, but I hope it's fantastic. There's a lot of energy in this room. We're a small crowd that braved the race today, so like we sounded wonderful this morning. Thank you very much. Thanks to Ron and Jeff for the wonderful music. So I just wanted to express a couple of gratitudes. Obviously, Ron and Jeff for the music, for there being enough crowd for us to need 2 ushers. That's a wonderful. As soon as I said that, awesome. All right, everybody, this side of the bus. And for our junior bell ringer, Amy. And just thank you for being here with us today. So I'm going to invite Janet back up for the meditation.
So just take a deep breath. Allow yourself to get comfortable. These next few moments are just for you. There are no to-do list in this moment. You have chosen to set them aside so you can become fully present to the here and now. Give yourself a sweet thank you with appreciation for this time that you are giving yourself. Take a deep breath and relax. If you feel safe and comfortable, close your eyes and relax fully into this moment. The energy of true appreciation is like the energy of prayer. It is filled with love. It imbues a rich warmth that creates feelings of love and peacefulness. A beautiful, breathtaking sunrise or sunset can stir up feelings of awe and wonder, and a deep appreciation for the beauty that is all around us. Feel that awe and wonder as you relax here in the beauty of the stillness. Bask in the light of appreciation for life and for all of its precious moments. Think of someone you truly appreciate. Recall when someone has expressed true appreciation for you. Appreciation is a prayer of awe. A prayer of recognizing the good in ourselves and others. We can see more beauty and more kindness when we appreciate our world. We are more passionate and loving and compassionate. We appreciate the depths of the human and the divine within each one of us. Put your focus once again on your breath, breathing in and breathing out. By appreciating each breath, you feel uplifted by the very act of breathing. Breathing is natural to our body and is a beautiful act of love from life itself. Breathe and feel the joy of appreciation as you move back into your day. Gently, gently. Look for the good. Recognize all the amazing things in your life. Truly and deeply appreciate the good in your life. And so it is. Amen.
The words for today are I am. And the affirmation is, I am a living expression of God. In the book of Exodus, Moses asks God his name. God responds, I am who I am. I am is the name of the divine presence within me, a reminder of my spiritual nature. Sometimes I may forget my divine identity by thinking of myself as weak, incapable, or unfortunate. If I have spoken disempowering words about myself, I release those thoughts and stop using those words. Each time I say I am, I strengthen my awareness of the truth of my being. I am God's life, love, wisdom, and strength, expressing uniquely as me. As I pay attention to my thoughts and words, I am able to recognize and release limiting thoughts more quickly. My awareness of my true identity grows stronger and stronger. From Matthew 16:15, he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?"
Well, this morning, as I left plenty of time to get here, I realized that I couldn't find any of my mountain stage charts. I have a mountain stage to do a little later, and those things are kind of important. So I finally took me about 20 minutes to find them, and I found them. And then as I got in the car, I realized I didn't have the song that I was going to do this morning. So I thought about it and just, tried not to get freaked out about it. And then I thought of Megan's lesson today, go with the flow of your life. I went, oh, okay. So this is the song that I guess I was supposed to play this morning. And Jeff, I knew Jeff would be right there with me because he could go into his filing system. Show me your filing system, Jeff. He knows where everything is, and it's definitely, he's so organized. And this is one of my songs, and so we offer it in the spirit of today. Ready? been true to everyone but yourself. Set your course towards the dreams of someone else. If you should decide to see who you were meant to be, there's a part of you that knows just where to turn. It's a voice from afar that tells you where you are, as true to the traveler as the northern star. It won't talk loud to be heard, but listen to every word you find, that it's coming from your heart, like a voice from afar. The compass spins round and round, you've lost your bearings. The sails are torn, the wind's too loud for you to hear. Go where it's calm, down below. Trust the part of you that knows that you could find your way with your eyes closed. It's a voice from afar that tells you where you are, as true to the traveler as the northern star. It won't talk loud to be heard, but listen to every word. You'll find that it's coming from your heart, like a voice from afar. You'll see, not once were you alone, as you search for what you've always known. See, not once were you alone, as you search for what you've always known. It's a voice from afar that tells you where you are, as true as the traveler, as the northern star. It won't talk loud to be heard, but listen to every word. You'll find that it's coming from your heart, like a voice from afar, like a voice from afar, like a voice from afar.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I am indeed honored to be introducing our guest speaker today, Megan Lyon. I'm kind of fortunate because the first time I met Megan, she was doing a Silent Day retreat here at UKV, and she had a friend helping her whose name was Megan. And so they pointed out the difference in their names, that one was Megan, one was Megan. So, Phil, I've never had to worry about this as far as Megan is concerned. I know how she likes to pronounce her name, but I also know that she is very gracious and accepting. You can call her whatever you want. But she is a spiritual director. She constantly amazes me with her writings and her post on Facebook. And every time she speaks, there is so much wisdom and spiritual things to be gleaned there. So please help me in welcoming Megan Lyon.
Good morning. Oh, wow, there's a lot of you all out here. I really thought there would be like 3 people today. So thank you. When I first heard about the races, I thought, we might go to Zoom, and this is so much better. I'm sorry. I love you all. I love my Zoomers, but I feel like I'm talking to myself when I Zoom. So this is wonderful to see all your faces in person. And I want to thank you, Ron, for forgetting your music so that I could hear that beautiful song. It was so wonderful. And thank you, Jeff. Beautiful, beautiful. I am so grateful for the continued invitation to come here and speak. And the last time I spoke here was actually in July of last year. And I had just returned from a pilgrimage to Iona, Scotland, a couple months before that, and I got to share my journey with you all. So these are the people I love to share those things with. And since then, I have traveled back to Iona last month as a pilgrimage leader for the Hayden Institute. And in between those 2 pilgrimages, much has happened in my life. So many of you know that I have experienced the painful loss of divorce and much grief during that period of time. And I've also experienced much growth and deep healing. I kind of see those 2 pilgrimages as bookends of a challenging time in my life. And so it seems only fitting that I would be here today talking to you right on the other side of one of those bookends, on the other side of some real healing. So I'm a firm believer that grief is a necessary part of being human. I'm pretty sure that for the last 1,000,000 years or so, people have been trying to figure out how to wiggle out of grief with almost no success. We know that grief comes to us one way or another. If we aren't willing to face it head on, it will come out in other ways, such as illness or anxiety or addiction, or as a pervasive feeling of disconnect or stuckness. But one way or another, it comes. I've shared with many of you before that one of the most significant parts of my spiritual journey is allowing myself to be human, to not try to skip the pain or the discomfort of life, and to know that I'm capable of experiencing it all. And so I chose this last year to be with the grief, to feel it all, to honor it, to pull up a chair and invite it in. I believe that old adage that we have to feel it to heal it. But I also believe in balance. And through the grief, I was aware of these 2 parts of me, my human self and my higher self. Both were present throughout the entire process. My human self grieved big, while my higher self, the part of me powered by the universe, sourced by God, connected to all that is holy, held me in the grief and reminded me that I would survive it, maybe even better than survive it, be transformed by it. So it was my higher self, somewhere along the journey, that remembered one of the greatest gifts of unity principles to me, affirmative prayer, and invited me to choose an affirmation to carry me through the grief. So early on, I meditated on what affirmation to hold during this time, and what came to me was this: I trust the flow of life. I trust the flow of life. And so today I'm going to share with you what that means to me and how I have affirmed my way into believing this and truly trusting the flow of life, even when the flow at times can be really painful. As most of us have experienced on our life journey, life ebbs and flows. It can be brilliantly beautiful and devastatingly painful, and everything in between. We have some influence over the ebb and flow of our lives, but so much of it is out of our hands. So much of it is really about a choice between resisting the flow or surrendering to it. I don't know a single person who's never experienced a loss in their lives. I don't know anyone who hasn't lost a loved one, a job, a relationship, a future dream, or dealt with a major health issue, and the list goes on. In my own life as a spiritual director, I've seen people experience the lowest of lows, watch them suffer terribly, watch myself experience the same, and witness the slow, painful, gradual healing of the heart. I've seen them discover their resilience, move forward in their lives, and return to joy. I cannot tell you the privilege it is to witness that journey in so many people's lives. I've heard some of my friends in the 12-step program, and some of you've probably heard this as well, say, yes, it is true that when the universe closes a door, it opens a window. But sometimes it's hell in the hallway. Trusting the flow of life is often about trusting that we won't stay in the hallway forever and that we will survive that period of time. And maybe, just maybe, if we stay open and willing, we can learn and grow during that time in the hallway. And maybe on the other side of that window, there is something more beautiful than we could ever imagine. In his book, To Bless the Space Between Us, John O'Donohue, the Celtic writer and teacher, wrote this about these times in the hallway, these threshold spaces of our lives. Within the grip of winter, it's almost impossible to imagine the spring. The gray parish landscape is shorn of color. Only bleakness meets the eye. Everything seems severe and edged. Yet beneath the surface of winter, the miracle of spring is already in preparation. The cold is relenting. Seeds are wakening up. Colors are beginning to imagine how they will return. Then imperceptibly, somewhere one bud opens, and the symphony of renewal is no longer reversible. From the black heart of winter, a miraculous, breathing plenitude of color emerges. But how do we survive these bleak, colorless transitions? Last year, I listened to a book by Florence Williams called Heartbreak. It was both a memoir about her grief, experiencing her own painful divorce, and a scientific understanding of grief and loss. By the end, she had concluded 3 things that her research showed, and she also found in her own experience, to be most helpful during those raw periods of grief. Community, a connection to a deeper purpose, and a sense of awe and wonder, which Janet brought up this morning in our meditation. I recognize that all 3 of those things have been essential in my own path of healing. So I want to start by talking a little bit about this idea of community being important in our healing process. So how many of us in this room and on Zoom can say about a difficult time in our lives, I don't know what I would have done without my friends or family? How many of you relate to that statement, right? My guess is that most of us can think about a time in our lives when our circle of support carried us through something that we could not have survived or barely survived on our own. I'm reminded of a time when our beloved Ayla Achad came to speak here at Unity years ago. and she shared about the terrible heartbreak of losing her son. I remember her saying that losing him created a hole in her heart, and that every time a card came in the mail offering her condolences, love, and support, that it created a seal over her heart, helping her to slowly heal the brokenness that her heart was feeling. That's the power of community, the power of knowing that we're not alone in our suffering. We truly do heal better in community. Florence Williams also talked about the power of purpose in our lives. And when I think about purpose, I can't help it. I always end up thinking about Viktor Frankl. So many of us know the book Viktor Frankl wrote called Man's Search for Meaning. And in his book, he describes the 3 years that he lived in a Nazi concentration camp and his observations about how anyone was able to survive such horrors. His conclusion was that the people who were able to survive were the ones who were able to hold on to some sort of purpose in life. And not a purpose in the Holocaust itself, but a feeling that their life had purpose, that there was still something left for them to do on this earth, even in the midst of the most unimaginable terror. So later in his life, when he was a college professor teaching about psychology and psychiatry, he taught his students about the significance of purpose. And one of his students asked him, "Dr. Frankl, what do you think your purpose is on this earth?" And as Victor was reflecting on his answer, another student piped in and said, "I think Dr. Frankl's purpose is teaching us to find our purpose." So Viktor Frankl was able to experience the kind of horror that hopefully most of us will never know, and continue on in his life, bringing light into the life of others, helping them to live from their most true selves, and that light continues to ripple out into the lives of everyone he touched. Florence Williams also went on to mention the power of awe and wonder. One of my favorite little nuggets. I recently read a story that Jean Houston, author, visionary, and founder of the Mystery School, tells about an unlikely friendship she had as a teenager with a man in his 70s. So she had begun a running practice to help her deal with her painful grief over her parents' divorce, when she literally ran smack into a man on the streets of New York City. And something in him must have known that she was struggling. So they began spending afternoons together walking to Central Park, where he would beckon her to stop and get close to the ground and intently watch a caterpillar wriggle by, or notice the beauty of the clouds, or invite her to sniff the wind. She said these words about him: "Oh, Mr. Taylor was truly present to every moment, and being with him was like being in attendance at God's own party, a continuous celebration of life and its mysteries. But mostly Mr. Taylor was so full of vital sap and juice that he seemed to flow with everything. Always he saw the interconnections between things, the way that everything in the universe, from fox terriers to tree bark to somebody's red hat to the mind of God, was related to everything else and was very, very good." It was many years later that someone handed Jean a book by an author that she recognized immediately as Mr. Taylor. Her friend from childhood, unbeknownst to her, was the French priest, scientist, poet, and mystic Teilhard de Chardin. As a child, she had no idea who he was, or that he was actually going through his own deep pain at the time of being silenced by the church that he had loved and served for many years. But she was being deeply shaped by this man and his ability to find beauty, healing, and meaning in even the smallest moments, in the most ordinary of things, in the connectedness of all creation. Community, purpose, and awe can help us to cross these threshold moments of our lives and begin to trust again, to trust life. I've been reading the Daily Reader, A Year Without Fear by Tama Keeves this year, and I came across this reading a couple weeks ago. Where have you become guarded? What broke your heart? I'll tell you what's breaking it now. When you stop trusting, you stop participating in life. There is no safety in protection. Love is the only safety. Open your heart again, and you will see you were never damaged. These words deeply resonated with me. Love is the only safety. When I choose to trust the flow of life, I am trusting in love. Safety cannot be found anywhere else. When I trust in love, I'm not trusting that human beings will always do the right thing. When I see the amount of hatred and division in our world, when I see children dying in Gaza and so much war and poverty in the world, I am keenly aware that humans do not always act from their most divine selves. When I trust in love, I'm not trusting that I'll never experience pain or fear or loss. When I see people I care about lose loved ones from suicide or cancer or substance abuse disorder, I would never tell them to look for the greater purpose in it all. There are some losses that we'll never be able to make sense of. But instead, when I trust in love, I am trusting that there is a benevolent energy in the universe that truly wants my good, that loves me and everyone else, that holds me, that can help me to use my experiences, no matter how painful or difficult, for growth and transformation. I can rely on this trust for the small and large things of my life and everything in between. So I recently helped my mom move out of a house that she lived in for 46 years. God help me. She downsized into a condo. And I luckily had help with this, but I'm the one that coordinated it, and at moments felt completely overwhelmed by this enormous task. I would think, this is just bigger than me. Like, I can't do this. This is just bigger than me. And in those moments of feeling overwhelmed, I would return to my mantra: I trust in the flow of life. This reminded me that I am drawing from a universal well. I'm drawing from a source bigger than myself, that I am doing nothing alone in this lifetime. And I was absolutely amazed at how coming back to that mantra returned me to peace over and over again. And I got to see the process unfold in that way. Everything did flow. Everything is still flowing because I still have a lot to do to clear out her house. So there's still flow happening. But the anxiety is gone, and I'm left with a trust in the unfolding. I trust that all will unfold with ease, and that I'll have strength and the resources I need for the parts that aren't easy. Thank God for Unity for teaching me this. I feel special thankfulness for Janet, who has been our great teacher in affirmative prayer. In his book, Beyond Words, writer and theologian Frederick Buechner wrote, "Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid." Easier said than done, right? And yet, when we set an intention to trust in the flow of life, when we trust in a power bigger than our small selves, when we trust in love, we learn to surrender to the ebb and flow of life. We find a resiliency within ourselves that is sourced by the divine. We discover a capacity to be transformed by whatever happens to us, and then to shine our light in the world and show others the way to healing and love. My prayer for each of you is that when life feels like it's too much, when life feels bigger than you, that you will remind yourself what your heart already knows deep down to be true. That you can trust the flow of life, that love will carry you through, and maybe, just maybe, there are beauty and riches along the way that you could never imagine. Thank you for listening and for the many ways that so many of you have shown up to be a part of my healing journey. And I'd like to take a few moments for a brief meditation, using more of the words about crossing thresholds by John O'Donohue in his book, To Bless the Space Between Us. So perhaps you may want to settle into your seat, relaxing your muscles, perhaps taking a nice, deep, intentional breath into your belly and fully releasing. Perhaps opening up your heart space, if that feels right, to receive these words. To acknowledge and cross a threshold is always a challenge. It demands courage and also a sense of trust in whatever is emerging. We never know what destiny shapes each life. Each life is a mystery. That we're here at all is a huge affirmation. Somehow life needed us and wanted us to be. To sense and trust this primeval acceptance can open a vast spring of trust within the heart. It can free us into a natural courage that casts out fear and opens up our lives to become voyages of discovery, creativity, and compassion. No threshold need be a threat, but rather an invitation and a promise. Whatever comes, the great sacrament of life will remain faithful to us, blessing us always with visible signs of invisible grace. We merely need to trust. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Megan. That was so insightful. This is a tithing church. 10% of all the offerings that we receive go out to bless others. And this month, our tithe is going to our community events fund. Now, what that is, it's a fund where if they're having the Race to End Racism or some activity like that, where we can show up in our Unity Church, in our Unity shirts, and show the community what we're about, then the church sponsors our participation in that. So when we put money into this fund, it not only helps the organization that we are there to support, but it also gets our name out in the community so that people understand who Unity of Kanawha Valley is. So that's where our tithe is going this month. If you will take your tithe and offering in your hand and repeat the offering blessing with me. Together, divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, I trust God, and I am grateful. Now, I thought today, since there's so few of us, if we just start it around this side, and when it gets to the back, just have it end up here with Stephen, and that will be good.
Well, Megan, I did remember this song, so I picked this one out just for you, okay? Right, two. Here's your part. Ready? See, I can't see at this high note, so I need all the women in the to help me. Okay, let's hear. Here we go. Oh, yes. Thank you. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. 'Cause in every life we have some trouble, but when you worry, you just make it double. So don't worry. Be happy. Help me out. Yeah, don't worry. Be happy. If you're listening on Zoom, you can do that too, okay? Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry. Be happy. The landlord say that the rent is late and he may have to litigate. Don't worry. Oh, don't worry. Be happy. Everybody sing. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile. Don't worry. I'll just be happy. 'Cause when you worry, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. So don't worry, just be happy. Come on, everybody. Don't worry. a song I wrote. I hope you have learned it note by note. Don't worry, oh, don't worry. Be happy, yeah. 'Cause in your life, expect some trouble. When you worry, you just make it double. So don't worry, no. Just be happy. Come on, everybody. Let's sing it one more time. Don't worry. Be happy. All right.
Whoa, thank you, thank you, thank you. So at this time, we give thanks for these gifts and offerings and for the energy of everyone who shares with this church, this place of love, this place where we hear messages of being in the flow of life and messages to always remember that there is awe and goodness in this world, and keep putting one step in front of the other. And we are richly blessed as we do this. So we say thank you for our wonderful speakers. Thank you for everyone who supports this church. And thank you for more love, joy, and peace.
Here, Jen.
Sorry. Oh, well, I need that little sticker there because it gives me my birthdays. They have tethered me here. So I don't know if we want to make a circle today or maybe just stand up and beam. What do you think?
Make a tiny circle.
You think we have enough for a circle? Okay. Well, anyway, we have. Well, yeah. Well, for birthdays, we have C.J. Spencer's, I guess was last Sunday. And I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Joe Hovicus, maybe? Zoomer, Sherry Cook, Tori Casey. Anybody else have a birthday or anything they're celebrating? Okay, so let's sing happy birthday to these folks.